Greetings and welcome to ShapeUP, a creation of the ActionApps team. I'm Jack Baum, and I'm going to walk you through some information about our app for teaching geometry to school-age children, with a useful problem-solving utility for adults to use too. You can view most of our content of this presentation by accessing the web page for this app, which is actionapps-finalproject.weebly.com. Our homepage on the website also pictures the app when you first open it up. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the presentation. I want to talk to you a little bit about applying ShapeUP. ShapeUP can operate in two ways. First, it can operate as a standalone feature for mobile learners on the go, and it can also serve as a teaching tool to be incorporated by classroom teachers to help give geometry lessons to students. As a tool for teachers to use as a planning guide to help them organize the integration of the ShapeUp app into a geometry lesson. Depending on the class size, the instructor will have to divide up the class, and we have featured here a useful tool, a script analysis portion of our design document, as a task analysis to help the teachers plan their sessions into manageable blocks for the class, depending on the class size. And in order to help them to construct the class, you want to be sure not to have all the information presented in one sitting. That would be a long sitting for anyone, and ShapeUp is supposed to be fun. However, I want to show you that the instructional piece for ShapeUp used in the classroom is conveniently broken up into timed activities. Now, these activities are only approximate in length, with content and instructional strategies and the appropriate evaluations, assessments to correspond to the respective outcomes and objectives. This task analysis page that you see up here goes into great detail in the explanation, and you can read this on your own. We're not going to go into great detail now. It's available on the website for you to peruse in detail. Our strategy for engaging the learners into learning about geometry is to offer colorful and interactive shapes to learn from and to play with on the screen. ActionApps believes that playing is doing, and doing is a higher form of learning, much more than simply hearing a lecture. That's the way geometry was originally taught in schools. And speaking from my experience, it was a painful lesson to sit in a class and hear the teacher drone on and on. But in this way, we also offer not only information on the geometry shapes alone, we also offer engaging games to keep the learner interested, and also simple quizzes for the learners to check their understandings of the concepts. We also provide another feature we call Go Figure as a feature for and a utility to perform simple geometric calculations. The whole idea behind this app is to provide a diversity of learning all brought together in one convenient package and to make learning geometry fun. I want to go into discussing a little bit about some of the designs that we used in coming up with our process. We went through a lot of iterations of different designs. Here you can see a variety of handheld drawings that we held up to our webcams for all of us to share with each other when we were in the process of designing ShapeUP. And you can see from these handheld drawings, we've come a long way. And you'll see exactly what I mean when I get into a little bit more of the demonstration. I want to tell you a little bit more about our team. We are a team of 3 Action App designers. Starting with myself, I'm Jack Baum, and I have a background in business education, in simplifying the complicated for people so that they can get up and running with the technology they need to perform productive work. So my specialty was in technology transfer, and I'm currently working on my master's degree in instructional design. My partners, Fareen Khan and Ala Makhazumi, are graduate students working on their PhD degrees. And Fareen and Ala are lifelong learners who strive to enhance their education into university teaching. And they're going to work out just fine in that too. I want to talk a little bit. We discussed some of the concepts of the features of ShapeUp. We offer an explanation of both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes with the Go Learn, the quiz, and the games feature, and also a built-in calculator. In order to help students learn a little bit more easily, especially for students who have some visual impairments, we do offer an audio portion to help repeat terms that are shown on the screen. This is an optional feature for some people with learning disabilities. And one can also select different languages to help them discover the magic of ShapeUp. And of course, we welcome your suggestions. Your suggestions are always appreciated, and we encourage you to open up our Contact Us form. Where we love to get the feedback from you. So we're hoping that you will take advantage of this opportunity to tell us what you think of our app, and also you might have some suggestions as to how we can improve it. So let's take a look now at some of the features of ShapeUp, and we should get started with that. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of some of the features of our screens to show you what it's about and how much fun you can have using ShapeUp. Let's talk a little bit about this feature, Go Learn. In Go Learn, we have examples of different polygons, for example. You can click on triangles and get an explanation of triangles and types of triangles and get information on triangles. Same with other kinds of polygons. You can get information on these various shapes as well. And I won't show you all the various shapes that we have because that'll take a long time. And in addition to that, I want to also inform you that as designers, we are still in the process of adding more and more features, including more background information. And once again, we are in the design phase, so we're adding more. We do have some information on some curve shapes for you to learn about. Circles, for example, you can get information on radius and circumference of circles. And once again, this is background information for you. We also have another feature which is currently in the development stage. I mentioned before the Go Figure. Go Figure is meant to be a design feature in which you can select various shapes, enter dimensions, and have the app do calculations for you. For example, let's say you had a room, maybe a room with an unusual shaped wall to it, and you wanted to figure how much paint you needed in order to cover that wall. The Go Figure feature will help you in that process by figuring out the dimensions you need and the number of paint coverage you need to cover your paint. We also feature games, math games, to help you learn a little bit more about shapes. Here is an example of a shape game. We'll click on the start. You can get information on shapes. Click the quadrilaterals. You can also get a summary of your progress. Once again, this is one of the features that is currently under a little bit more development for design. And I'm only going to give you a little bit overview of these features. And finally, we have this little quiz feature that enables learners to check their understanding to see what they've learned. Right now, the little quiz feature is still under design development, so we can't show you exactly at this time how it works. But as time goes on and we do further development on our design, we intend to have this little feature active. But right now, before we leave, I want to draw your attention to a little QR code here up at this portion of the screen. We're going to use this QR code in a minute or so to upload the app onto your iPad device. So make sure that you have a QR reader on your iPad so that you can load ShapeUp. Okay, now remember we were talking about the little QR code? Well, here it is. And we're going to use this little figure to upload the app onto your iPad. So first we click on it to enlarge, and there it is. So now we pick up the iPad, and we have a little QR reader that you see here. And we're going to just tap this app to activate it so that we can load the app onto the iPad. And there you see the little frame. We want to put this right over it. And maybe you heard a little beep. The app is now loading onto the iPad. And you can see, we now have the app loaded, and now you can go learn, go figure, or play games or quiz. The one thing is we want you to be sure is that whatever you're doing, you're going to have fun learning. And one last thing, shape up!